What's up, everybody? So, I want to talk about the most brutal, hardest to watch video I've ever seen on YouTube. As of now, it's still available, and it's called Kawaheri, and it's a 1964 mondo film, which is a shockumentary, essentially. It's very exploitive, and it's very brutal and very racist. I think that it might have inspired the other very brutal and hard to watch movie, Cannibal Holocaust. So, in Cannibal Holocaust, the plot is an American film crew disappear while making a documentary in the jungle about cannibals. And so, this Kawaheri movie was made by Americans in 1964. So it's older than Cannibal Holocaust. Definitely probably drew some inspiration from it. So if you remember the plot, the filmmakers go and they pretty much just like act like assholes and brutalize everybody just to try to make their movie more exciting. And I feel like maybe this movie they're very, very exploitive in it. And I feel like they might have done something kind of like that. So let's just try to watch this and see for ourselves.
Africa, land of great beauty. Africa is also a land of great brutality, a continent of desperation. Here in Africa, all this, beautiful and brutal, uniquely African, all this is disappearing. Here, the ancient things and the ancient ways as well.
So that's like one of the ideas, the plots essentially of this is the old ways versus the new ways, like how there is like tribal life at this point, but everything's modernizing. But the other plot of the movie is finding a traditional doctor, or witch doctor as they call it, who performs like Stone Age style preparations.
Are giving way to all that is new and modern. And very soon now, the old Africa will exist only in the memories of men and in their history books. And all this will be seen no more.
So the beginning seems like, alright, it's nice. It's very National Geographic at this point. They have a snake eat like a little groundhog or a muskrat or something. They keep cutting back to it, which is, it's a little like shocking, but it's nothing that isn't like nature programming at this point.
The old is swallowed whole. In the film you are about to see, the agonies of its death will live on this screen, even as they are living now in vanishing Africa.
I feel like the sweeping orchestra music is very Cannibal Holocaust-esque during the titles. So they show animal footage and just general footage, like setting the mood, till about 6 minutes in, and then they just start showing people at the hospital. And yeah, it's pretty condescending. It's 6 minutes in, it's been condescending and very exploitive to these people with diseases and birth defects.
That is often their only source of money.
Then about 10 minutes in, they start with the animal killings. and this is supposed to be just some like native people hunting. But yet again, I wonder, are they just paying these people to do it as a performance? Like, oh, I want to film you doing this, and they weren't normally going to go and get this.
Of the dangerous Cape buffalo, and for its gamey meat.
So after that, they go on with more like animal brutality, essentially, with some illegal capturing and killing and skinning and cleaning of elephants.
Whether it walks on 2 legs or 4, whether large or small, a mother, a dying baby.
It's pretty
So like
bad.
people everywhere, Africans are doing what they must do to stay alive.
Like hacking on an elephant. It's just, really hard to watch stuff. And then it shows like a guy making an elephant foot umbrella stand.
And if there is a delicacy to be found,
But it goes back to more just like brutal, like hacking and like killing of the elephants. And then this is like not as bad of a scene, but it's still pretty bad. Even in the less like brutal scenes of just like killing and harvesting like parts from animals, this is allegedly some people catching a baby rhino for a zoo, and they're very mean with it. And yet again, I don't know if this is actually real because it's a Mondo movie. They could just be like staging this and just doing it just for the film, which is just like mean.
of Africa as they can. And so, frantic mother runs desperately nearby.
And they're just wrestling with it for like way too long, like it's a cattle roundup and they're cowboys or something. And it goes on for quite a while. And they say something about how they're gonna like transport it to a zoo, but I question that.
And a bit of the old Africa will be preserved in one of the world's zoos.
So they continue on for a little bit more with different animals, just showing like the standard PBS type stuff.
Elephant Dog holds on.
So then it's about 21 minutes in when they start meeting witch doctors. And they're going to like different villages trying to find the person who does the trepidation.
This is a witch doctor. He is privy to the secrets of the old African universe. He is in on the secrets of the combinations of things. And in old Africa, the combinations are strong. Lizard's eye, leopard spleen, tongue of the Thompson gazelle, to be taken internally for virility and fertility and senility. In old Africa, everything, however simple, has a meaning, a root, rubbed on women's breasts, assures a successful birth. The witch doctor holds on, and the people hold on with him. For he is the strongest ally of all the old things.
Okay. So then they show an obviously staged scene and a very racist, asshole-ish scene as well.
All use the witch doctors to repair every grievance against nature and against man. A dissatisfied dwarf who wants to be tall. He visits a witch doctor who can write the proper signs in the sand. The albino is white. The dwarf has reasoned that writing in the sand has made the albino white. For 3 coppers, the witch doctor will write again. If the albino is white, why can't the dwarf be tall?
So, yeah. It's gone a little bit from, like, condescending to just straight up just, like, being complete assholes. Then they show this guy who has, like, some sort of arm defect and where his arm is fused. And they claim that it's from a witch doctor spell. But obviously, because if you look at the nurse, you look at her hands and whatnot, it's just the same nurse who was at the earlier hospital scene. So they just, like, spliced some later footage from the hospital scene over here and said it was from the witch doctor.
Hoax. And those who believe in the power of the hexes can't avoid their effect. This man was caught stealing. A witch doctor was called. The man believed in the power of the witch doctor. The witch doctor decreed that the man should never again use his arm in payment for his crime. And now, neither modern medicine nor surgery can help this man.
Oh, yeah. So, after this, it gets really, really gross. And not even in the way that it's been so far. They go to a tribe, and whoever the adventurer cameraman is just keeps on filming very young native girls who don't have much clothes on. And it's obviously exploitation and very, very terrible stuff. But then, once they, like, settle in with the tribe for a second, they show them drinking blood. And it's not the worst of things. You see that on, like, PBS yet again.
Each evening.
I censored it because they do, like, just film, they just go way too close to the bowl, mixing it up. It's pure exploitation.
To us, it tastes good and is moral. But Europe.
So this is like the 30-minute mark of the movie, and they introduce the process, the trepanation process.
The doctor. But there is something else here, another kind of medicine. There is the medicine of the witch doctor. There is the medicine of these old instruments, files, hacksaws, pocket knives. And there is testimony as to what use was made of them. Skulls with holes in them.
Ugh.
Skulls testifying to the oldest operation known to men, trepanation, the removal of large circular discs of bone from the skull.
The usual method would be to make a linear incision from the occiput to the forehead. At this point, the trepanation proper would begin. Using an ordinary knife, the method would be to scrape as hard as possible, standing astride the patient. Once the...
So that's somebody's skull that he bought, probably. Whoever this person is, they bought someone's trepidated skull to use in this movie.
proper skull thickness has been reached, so that the skull could be dented in and out, rather like a table tennis ball, a specially sharpened, but not sterile knife would then be inserted at the thinnest point the medicine man could find, and a sliver of bone, half cut, half levered out.
Oh, it makes my spine crawl.
African medicine of the old school.
Damn, African medicine of the old school.
Push on by any means possible.
I thought this was funny. He gets in like a VW van.
Push on past the white rhinos. Past the Ankoli, the cattle of the Watusi. They were once the cattle of the pharaohs, brought from Egypt long ago by the Watusi.
Okay, so they switch to a boat, and this boat's gonna become like a big like plot point later on.
Here are the homes of the oldest inhabitants of the continent, the Negrios. Pygmy.
What did he say? I don't think that's what they're really called. Did he really say that?
The oldest inhabitants of the continent, the Negrios. Pygmies.
And this is when, like, it goes full-blown, like, terrible with the racism here. They treat these people pretty much like they're animals. And then at this one point, because there's no native sound in this movie. It's all, like, overdubbed. at this point, they decided to put animal sounds over them while claiming that they're men. It's very, very dehumanizing.
They are men. Men who know about their own world as well as any man can. Men who love the world they find themselves in.
So yeah. It's real fucking really bad here. So they talk to another medicine man.
Wisdom. Men who know about many things. Who know about the old ways of curing sickness. Who know about witch doctors who perform certain operations and might perhaps...
They look like they're smoking like a cool big old like bong though, like peace pipe bong.
The old men talk. The way to the cave is dangerous, but it is the only way to the river that lies beyond.
So then the guy makes them carry the boat. This asshole who's making the movie makes everybody carry his boat and all of his supplies. And then he makes them take the boat through a cave. And I don't know if he's really actually going all the way through the cave. It's probably just a movie plot where he still made them carry that up and carry it around inside the cave to get the shots of this, obviously. He makes them move boulders.
Even if machines don't.
Yeah. Makes them carry it through a cave and then carry it up a waterfall. Just exploiting these people for this movie. I mean, it's very impressive on their behalf to be able to, like, move that boat up that waterfall. But it's very, like, scummy and just trying to get some shit for a movie.
The work is done. The top is reached. The pygmies go only to the top and no further, for here, at the top of the falls, the land is forbidden. See.
Alright, so now he finally makes it to where the trepanation is going to take place.
The land of mystery. The land of the witch doctor. And a chance to see the operation of the skulls.
I swear the like person doing the voiceover said, "Oh my god," right there.
The witch doctor, the medicine man. In old Africa, he is the man who knows everything. There is a crisis here, and the witch doctor must act. And so, he prepares.
Ooh.
He is careful, readying his instruments, testing the sharpness of the blades.
Oh, that makes like my skin crawl. Just him like scraping it on his fingernail. And here's what I really mean about how Cannibal Holocaust could be a reflection of this movie. Did this woman actually need this operation beforehand? Or was it an outside influence? Was because this guy wanted to make this documentary to film this procedure? Was there some sort of coaxing involved? I could easily see that being the case. But the skin crawling's not going to stop with that.
He gathers his instruments. For in old Africa,
So they prep. They start doing rituals and prepping for it.
it's crucial. This is a This is seen under the most extreme conditions. The time time is at hand.
So here it goes.
Operations are nearing completion.
This is it. This is so hard to watch when it comes down to it.
Now, old Africa and the witch doctor pit their wisdom and their skill against the frailty of the human body. Green hairy leaves are considered to have great healing power.
Okay, so this is an hour in. An hour into the movie, and he's sharpening the knife. So, I can say one thing about it. It moves at a good pace. It's got a good, like, plot pace. 30 minutes in, they're looking at the skulls, and an hour in, the guy is sharpening the knife to do the surgery. If it has one thing other than, like, terribleness, it has pacing.
The universe holds its...
Okay, so, whew. They cut her. They make a big cut in her head. And they start whacking at it. And sawing.
One sterile nurse. One anesthesiologist.
It's really like brutal and violent. I tried to censor it much as I could, but just to give you an idea how bad this is. All right, did you see that? Right there, where he's just like banging away.
Minimal requirements.
Yeah. It goes on for like 2 minutes. And then they take a break.
After 3.5 hours. Assistants take time out to wet their mouths. With beer, take confidence in the...
And then they go back to it. That's the lady right there who's having it done.
Surgery. Skull surgery. Trepanation in the outback. No anesthesiologists. No neurosurgeons.
And then it's 2 more minutes of uninterrupted, terrible brutality, brutal, real-life gore.
The patient's head is washed clean with the old scrub water. Is used as a dressing.
And then they pack a bunch of, like, warthog fat in it. Oh my god.
The skull. There for the rest of her life, the patient walks away. Such is the medicine of old Africa. And it is a time for the doctor.
Alright, and so then they show these other poor people who've had this procedure done to them, and this one gets me too.
Time for him to show the results of his skill. Other trepanations, others with permanent holes in their skulls. Holes covered so thinly by scalp that each person must wear a head garment to protect his brain from the sun. There are such examples of the doctor's skill. One person has had 13 such operations, a hero of his people. It is an honor for a people to have a great and successful witch doctor among them.
Oh, it's just too, like, violent and fast with that person's head.
A witch doctor's power over his people and their blind faith are all a part of life and death in the old Africa. In old Africa, there is understanding.
So, yeah. Very, very hard to watch. And it's real. So, after that, most people, if anybody talks about this movie, they talk about that. They talk about that scene that I just went over. But right afterwards, they allude to a human sacrifice, and no one ever really talks about this part. This ending is also why I feel like Cannibal Holocaust was inspired by it. So, let's try to go through this part.
And beauty. But there are other things. Things even less spoken of than the witch doctor's operation. Things less known. things harder to find, things never seen. Sex rights, a ritual understood by men everywhere.
All right, so.
And sometimes, just sometimes, even now, there is something here, something never spoken of, and almost unknown, something impossible to find, except perhaps this time it has been found.
All right, so they bring out this girl strapped to this pole or rack or what it is, and then they wrap her up with these banana leaves, and then they carry her. And here's the part where I'm like, okay, so this is fake. This has got to be fake. That doesn't look like the weight of a human body. On that pole when they're carrying it, it doesn't look like the weight of a human body. This is some like mondo fake stuff that they added to it. But like right after you watch that trepanation and all that gore, your body's just in such shock that you're willing like to believe it. Because that doesn't look like the weight of a human body. They're not struggling hard enough to like carry a human body in that.
Before anything can be sacrificed, the Tokoki purge all evil spirits from the body. We will never really understand.
And then they carry it up and set it on fire. And allegedly, it's a human sacrifice. No one ever talks about this movie that allegedly has a real human sacrifice in it. I don't know why.
And the world of flesh offers one of its own to the world of spirit.
And then...
And in each dancer, the flesh is consumed, as if each is burning in that fire.
Okay, so this is also a, like, Cannibal Holocaust analogous part. At the end of it, when the sacrifice is supposed to be taking place, it seems as if members of the tribe get possessed and run at the cameraman, like trying to stab him and kill him. And that's very, very Cannibal Holocaust. At the end of that, that's like how the movie ends, with the found footage of them getting attacked and killed and eaten. See, there's like he's running with the knife, trying to come and like stab him, and there's like another guy coming with a knife.
The frenzy reaches a breaking point. This is the old Africa. Now slowly it is vanishing.
See, all these people are like coming with a knife to like stab the cameraman, and it kind of almost alludes to maybe he is stabbed because he brings the camera up towards the sky.
Farewell to these people, still members of a...
And then you try to look real hard to see, is that a person or is that just some kind of like bundle? And I'm assuming it's just some kind of weird bundle. It doesn't really look that right.
They will be African citizens of a nation and of the world. And these ancient rights will be no more, swallowed by the new Africa that is coming. Kawaheri to the pain and brutality. Farewell to the beauty of vanishing Africa.
Damn. That is a hard watch. And it's available on YouTube. Holy crap, I can't believe it. Anyways. At one point I said I'd talk about Mondo films, and I'd talk about trepanation, so there's a 2-for-1. Thanks guys, I'll see you later.